This video will take you through the installation procedures involved in Solvent Welding System 1738 flue gas venting. Before we begin, please make note of the following. Following these installation procedures will help to ensure a quality flue gas venting installation in a life safety application. Before beginning, assemble the proper materials for the job. System 1738 cement and primer if required, pipe, fittings, appropriate applicator for the size of pipe and fittings to be assembled, tape measure, contrasting color marker, saw or pipe cutter, file, a clean dry cloth, and Reed Deb 4 beveling tool. In addition to having the necessary tools and products, you will also need to use proper personal protective equipment for the job. This includes a respirator, safety glasses and gloves, and protective clothing. First, measure the fitting socket depth and mark the outside of the pipe with this dimension, followed by a second mark 1 inch further back. The first line will provide a guide for ensuring enough solvent cement is applied on the pipe. Maintaining a 1 inch distance to the second line once the pipe is inserted into the fitting socket will indicate full and proper insertion of the pipe inside the fitting socket. Once the pipe is marked, it is important to cut the pipe squarely. A square cut provides the surface of the pipe with the maximum bonding area. Pipe can be easily cut with a wheel-type plastic tubing cutter, chop saw, or fine-toothed saw. Do not use reciprocating saws. Tools used to cut pipe must be designed for System 1738 piping and must be in good condition in accordance with the tool manufacturer's recommendations. If there is any indication of pipe damage or evidence of pipe end cracking, cut off at least 2 inches beyond any visible crack. Use of ratchet cutters is not recommended, as they may split the pipe if not properly used and maintained. After cutting, always remove all burrs and filings from both the inside and outside of the pipe and bevel the pipe end using a Reed Deb 4 beveling tool. Remove burrs and filings from the inside of the pipe using a knife edge or file. Failure to remove burrs can scrape channels into pre-softened surfaces, create obstructions inside surface walls, or inadvertently plow cement out of the joint during assembly. Please note that chop saws will produce shavings inside the pipe, which must be removed. Failure to do so may compromise the performance of the appliance and venting system. Next, using a clean dry cloth, wipe any dirt and moisture from the fitting socket and the pipe end. Moisture will increase cure times, and dirt and grease can prevent adhesion. Before applying primer or solvent cement, test all connections, pipe, fittings, and accessories to confirm a proper interference fit exists. Dry fit contact between properly beveled pipe and fitting sockets is essential in making a good joint. The beveled pipe should easily enter the fitting socket and make contact with the inner fitting socket wall before bottoming out in a dry fit. A proper interference fit is present when the beveled pipe can only be inserted 1/3 to 2/3 of the way into the fitting socket. Do not solvent weld pipe, fittings, or accessories that fit loosely together or where pipe bottoms out in a dry fit. Use the proper size cement and primer applicator for the size of pipe or fittings being joined. As a general guide, the cement applicator size should be approximately half of the pipe diameter. For example, if you're using 2-inch pipe and fittings, then you should use an applicator that is approximately 1 inch in size. It is important that a satisfactory size applicator be used to help ensure that sufficient layers of cement are applied. It is mandatory to use the System 1738 primer for installation temperatures at or below 32 degrees Fahrenheit or 0 degrees Celsius. Using the correct applicator, aggressively work the primer into the fitting socket, keeping the surface and applicator wet until the surface has been softened. Aggressively work the primer onto the end of the pipe to a point a ½ inch beyond the depth of the fitting socket, roughly halfway between the two lines marked on the outside of the pipe. A second application of primer in the fitting socket is required. Immediately, and while the surfaces are still wet, apply the appropriate System 1738 cement using the solvent welding guidelines that follow. Vigorously shake the System 1738 cement can before using. If the cement is gelled, replace with a new can. Using a clean, properly sized applicator for the pipe diameter, aggressively work a full, even layer of cement onto the pipe end equal to the depth of the fitting socket. This is indicated by the line marked closest to the pipe end. Do not brush it out to a thin paint-type layer, as it will dry too quickly. Then aggressively work a medium layer of cement into the fitting socket. Avoid puddling cement in the socket by holding the fitting on an angle. Ensure a full, even layer is applied. Excessive cement may cause the fitting to weaken due to softening by the trapped solvents. Apply a second full, even layer of cement on the pipe. Apply enough solvent cement to completely fill all the gaps between the pipe and fitting at socket entrance. Without delay, while the solvent cement is still wet, assemble the pipe and fitting. Hold the pipe and fitting together for approximately 30 seconds to resist pushout due to tapered sockets. Higher potential for pushout exists in colder weather installations. If pushout does occur, the joint will need to be replaced. A bead of solvent cement must be formed around the entire socket fitting entrance. With a clean, dry cloth, remove the excess solvent cement from the pipe and fitting socket entrance. This step will allow the solvent to evaporate from within the joint and prevent weakening of the pipe. To ensure proper pipe insertion depth has been achieved, measure between the lip of the socket end and the second marked line to confirm that the 1-inch distance has been maintained. Handle newly assembled joints carefully until the appliance service time is expired. Follow the System 1738 appliance service time schedule outlined in the System 1738 Installation Methods Guide. Installation training is available by contacting IPEX. IPEX recommends that installers attend formal training on System 1738 every 3 years to ensure proper installation methods are utilized at all times. For more information, refer to the System 1738 Installation Methods Guide or contact IPEX directly. You can also visit us at system1738.com.